Hey everyone, I'm Tyler Metcalf, and I watch the film so you don't have to. On this video, we're taking a look at AJ Dybantsa. Dybantsa is headed to BYU, and the 6'9 skilled wing forward freshman is one of the more polarizing prospects at the top of a really exciting 2026 NBA draft class. Dybantsa has long been one of the most highly touted and sought after high school recruits in recent years, but there are some changes and stagnations to his game that have people rethinking. Now, I'm still excited about him. You should be too. And obviously, when we're looking at guys at the top of the draft, we're going to nitpick some stuff. And that's exactly what we're going to do with Dybantsa here. There's a lot to love. There's also a lot that's grown in his game that has me rethinking him as a player and who he is and what type of player he could be, not only at BYU, but in the NBA as well. Let's take a look at the film, see how Dybantsa's game fits in the current landscape of today's basketball, what he could be as a player, as a freshman, and what we can expect from him at BYU this season. Welcome to Film School. Let's dive in. So last year, I was anticipating Dybantsa being more of this offensive hub who could get a shot wherever he wanted, and there's a lot of offensive upside that we'll get into shortly. But I thought his offense stagnated quite a bit this year, whereas defensively, while he was never a bad defender, I think defensively he took a major leap this year, and that's what really has me kind of rethinking him as a player and what he could look like at each next level in college and the NBA. Whereas instead of this dynamic offensive hub, maybe he's more of a primary defensive stopper. The physical tools are awesome, and while the block and steal numbers may never be outlandish, the way that he commits to the fundamentals and wants to defend, obviously there are lapses like any high schooler has, but the way that he has committed to defense this last year is really exciting. So at 6'9", 210-ish pounds, depending where you look, great foundation to be a primary wing defender. And as we see here, I love how he sits down in a stance, slides his feet, opens up his hips, pivots back, stays grounded, just stays in front, forces the wild shot, has the size, the strength, the positioning to defend with a bit of physicality, absorbs that, nice little off arm separation there, no foul, wild shot, no chance of going in. Similarly, I just love how he slides his feet here. It's a quick example, but at his size, being able to sit down in a stance like this, that far away from the hoop, slide his feet to perfection, gets a little high out of his stance, but he's in the ball handler's pocket, he's being physical, and ends up forcing a tough pass into traffic that ends up being a turnover. Really good fundamentals. Here again, great job opening up the hips, slides his feet, plays with his chest, disrupts the ball handler without fouling. That quick feet, the fluid hips, the ability to sit down in his stance allows him to stay balanced, absorb that contact through the chest, hands high, doesn't reach, doesn't foul. Really, really strong contest. Sean Abayev had an awesome game in this one, but Dybantsa did a fantastic job throughout this game, and especially on this possession here, of just staying in front, making life difficult, and forcing a really tough shot. And now we see a little of the opportunism. This is something that Dybantsa was really good at throughout throughout this FIBA tournament this summer. Picking up guys full court, being opportunistic, just rips the ball away, staying engaged, and then turning defense into offense, little step through, nice finish. So coming into this year, I expected Dybantsa to be a offensive dynamo. There's a lot of upside there. We're about to get into it. But the way that he's grown on defense with the commitment to fundamentals, doing the little things, and that desire where he's celebrating defensive stops almost, if not more, than putting guys on a poster, that's really, really encouraging to me and has me sort of rethinking him as a player as we go forward. While the defense is really exciting, the shooting is equally concerning. As we can see down below, some of his shooting numbers based on various competitions over the last couple of years, the numbers aren't great. In fact, they're really concerning, and they've been like that throughout. And now, take the FIBA ones with a grain of salt, small sample size, and all that. But as we can see throughout a lot of these clips, Dybantsa's mechanics, the bones of it are okay, but his release point is different. The release style, sometimes it's a little more fluid, sometimes it's a little more of a catapult launch, and he also tends to shoot like a really flat ball. And a lot of that is why some of the shooting numbers are concerning and haven't been good. I mean, his best shooting season in the last 2 years across competitions, he was still sub 40% on jumpers. Not great. So it's definitely something that has to improve. I think the bones of his mechanics are sound and reliable and workable. It just has to get way, way, way more consistent. While the raw numbers are concerning, they're not great. They need work. The context in Dybantsa's shot attempts is also super important. The volume, the difficulty, and the versatility that he takes them is way more than what a lot of guys his age do. He's not just simply spotting up in the corner, launching wide open threes. He's taking stuff off the bounce, off of movement, creating for himself out of the pick and roll, isolation, on ball, off ball. The versatility and the volume is all really encouraging. And the fact that he has the confidence and the green light and a pretty diverse sample size in terms of shot attempts is encouraging for the long-term growth, because when we look at shooting indicators, obviously the raw percentage is important, but we also look at mechanics, we look at shot versatility, shot difficulty, and volume. And outside of the raw numbers, the signs are really encouraging. So if he's able to find a little bit more consistency in the nuances of his shooting mechanics, there's a world where Dybantsa explodes as a shooter, given the fact that he already has an incredibly encouraging sample size of shot difficulty and versatility, both on and off ball. And when he's in a situation where he's not experiencing incredibly aggressive gap help and seeing a second defender or a third defender on almost all of his shot attempts, the odds are that it's going to get a little more simplified. It's going to get a little more efficient, and we're going to see the effectiveness and the efficiency continue to improve. Now, obviously, shot selection goes into that as well, but outside of the raw numbers, there are really encouraging indicators long-term for Dybantsa, even though he may struggle and probably will struggle as a shooter at BYU as a freshman. So while AJ may not be the most reliable and efficient shooter, outside shooter at this point, his interior 2-point scoring game absolutely rocks. There's a sense of physicality, patience, composure, and traffic that very few guys his age have. Big reason why he ranked in the 87th percentile in isolation scoring per synergy, the 96th percentile in post-up scoring, and 93rd percentile around the rim. We're going to start with his mid-range stuff because it's a legitimate NBA level scoring arsenal inside the arc right now. The way that he gets to his spots, has the size and release point to shoot over defenders, has the physicality. Quick old man yells at clouds moment for me. I hated how much he foul hunted, and he drew an absurd amount of fouls, an absurd amount of free throws this year, and it worked. So hats off. And when he was getting that whistle, his scoring numbers ballooned rapidly. It's a skill to draw fouls. It's a skill to get to the line. I would expect that going forward. Just a little bit too much of it in his senior year for my liking. But the craft and mid-range scoring that he has is awesome. I love how he sets up defenders, plants that left foot, spins back over his right shoulder. He doesn't create a ton of space in terms of a crafty handle. And he's not a point guard that's going to go out there, dice up a defender, break his ankles, and then create 7 feet of space. But he doesn't need to, because he's 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", depending where you look, somewhere in that range. He's got great size, and his composure and patience and footwork and comfort with physicality make it so he doesn't need to create a ton of space. Really composed move here, manipulates the defender's momentum, drives middle, plants that left foot, spins back over his right, high release, fades away. knocks it down. Really sexy move. Here, we just see him, again, matched up, smaller defender, go to work, get to your spot, and that quick rise up, he feels the defender leaning on him, feels that hand extending over, not straight up, jumps up through it, gets the foul call, comfortable with the contact, comfortable with the physicality, baits the defender into fouling him, drops it in, and one. This one is really awesome footwork. I love how he explodes into this crossover, just hang dribble, crosses him up, gets the defender leaning one way. Now he's toying with him. Now he's driving past him. Once that defender starts to catch up, and he has to turn his hips, turn his shoulders a little bit to recover. Dybantsa times the spin move perfectly, plants that left foot, uses those long strides, the fluid hips, repositions himself. This is one of those rare occasions where he does create a ton of space for himself. Plants that left foot, spins middle. The balance, the composure, the explosiveness in tight areas, in short bursts, really fun. Rises up, decent late contest by the help defender here, but Dybantsa gets great elevation, a high release point, drops it in. Nothing overly complicated, just tough shot here. Drives middle, he sees the driving lane, can't turn the corner, and this is something that he does struggle with, is having that explosive first step to turn the corner and really create space. Doesn't get it there, help defender, doesn't really matter, just gets to a spot, fades away, knocks it in. The jab step with him is really fun too, because he gets to the rim a lot. We'll break down some of his rim pressure stuff here in a second, but defenders have to be wary of it, and when he toys with them, it's really fun. Jab step, that shot, I would imagine in a couple years, if not sooner, that shot goes up. Really good job of creating space here with that jab step, sends the defender back a couple steps. That's enough space for him to let that fly. He doesn't. Instead, shot fake, gets the defender off his feet, drives. I don't love this shot attempt. Obviously, long two, foot on the line. Would have been obviously instead love for him to drive baseline there or fully turn that corner, be a little more decisive getting downhill. A lot of time left on the shot clock still, but everything up until the shot attempt is what I love. The toying with the defender, jab step, shot fake, keeping him off balance and being able to go wherever he wants. Couple years of experience and, slightly improved handle and decisiveness, all that kind of stuff. He's going to be able to toy with defenders in these types of situations a lot. Still makes a tough jumper. Set him up on the elbow. This is just where size comes into play. Darren Peterson, good defender, awesome player. Has no chance because Dybantsa just gets great elevation on the jumper, rises up, high release point. When he gets those mismatches on shorter defenders, he's going to be able to feast on the block, around the elbows, in the mid-range. He's going to put up really fun numbers. The mid-range scoring game, I know it's not the sexiest and most sought-after skill set right now, but it's still valuable. It's still a really important part of all of the Stars' scoring repertoires, and Dybantsa's mid-range game right now is really fun. It's incredibly dynamic. As the shot continues to improve and he can stretch that out a little more to the three-point line, his scoring numbers could get pretty scary. That same sense of footwork, composure, physicality that Dybantsa showcases in the mid-range, he also has in folds going to the rim. The way that he gets downhill basically whenever he wants and executes powerful finishes with floaters and Euro steps and step throughs while drawing fouls and finishing through contact. I love how effective and dominant he is when he wants to be getting downhill, because the size, and he does all of it without an elite first step. Like, you'll rarely see him just blow past a guy, which is concerning as we continue to scale up in competition. But he's already so comfortable seeking physicality, drawing fouls around the rim, and then we see the balance, the composure when second and third defenders collapse on him. He doesn't panic. He keeps his head up. He stays patient. The game almost slows down for him in those moments, and he's able to be almost more effective. And it also creates a lot of playmaking opportunities. We'll get into it in a minute here, but there's a reason that he ranked in the 93rd percentile in at rim scoring, and it's because of how crafty and efficient and effective he was in these situations. That's a nice little blow by. So long closeout, and obviously as he scales up and the scouting reports continue to grow and get a little more focused and a little more disciplined, that outside shot's going to have to be there at a respectable level to draw these types of closeouts. If it's not, they're going to close out short, take away those driving lanes. So obviously, being a good shooter, always important in and of itself, but it also creates these types of situations. Great shot fake, gets the flyby contest, drives. I love the patience here. Just kills his dribble. He's reading, all right, can he kick it out here? Can he kick it here? Weak side defenders play in that passing lane, gets the rim protector to step up off his feet, and instead of forcing a pass, he knows he's in the paint already, so let's just a little patient step through, float it over the rotating defender. Nice little floater. Great combination of strength and footwork here. Drives, gets us in the early offense, has two defenders on him already, secures the ball through the contact. A little bit of bully ball on the primary defender, plants that left foot, uses those long strides to step through, split the defense after discarding his primary defender, has the balance to maintain his composure. Easy layup right there. See him streaking in transition, and just big dude. No hesitation. Great showcase of strength. The willingness to seek out contact, finish through it, send the rim protector to the ground, draw the foul, plus the layup. Similar thing, just bully ball. This is him just knowing he's bigger than the defender, refusing to be denied. Defender's in a decent spot here, but Dybantsa does a great job just lowering that shoulder, protecting the ball, playing off at 2 feet, going up, secured with the ball with both hands, beats the defender to the spot, finishes through the contact. Really common theme with his slashing and driving game. And the footwork, absolutely perfect. Smaller defender on him. He's a little quicker, so he beats Dybantsa to the spot. Will be an issue for him going forward, probably. But great composure, doesn't panic, does a great job spinning back against it, keeps the dribble alive, plants that left foot, steps through. Ton of ground coverage here. So left foot, right foot, and now he's gotten rid of both defenders with those long strides, the balance of footwork, finishes uncontested layup. Pushing an early offense. Similar as the last one. Great job securing the ball, showcasing the strength, plants that left foot, spins back through the double team attempt, maintains his balance, left foot. He's fighting through 3 pairs of arms here, getting hacked, getting mauled, doesn't matter. Gets the foul down here, doesn't get the layup, but he has no business getting to the rim here, but that strength, ability to secure that ball, the footwork and ability to spin through those tight areas like that, pretty fun. Goes in motion a little bit, gets the ball, head fake, gets downhill. Most guys his age don't have this type of composure and patience in the lane. I love that little head fake. Gets the defender leaning a little bit. Now he's attacking the high foot. Gets downhill. Draws the second defender. He feels his primary defender turn his hips. Panic trying to get back rim side. Shot fake. Gets both of them to commit. Great Great showcase of his balance, planting that left foot again, spinning back over the right shoulder, staying in control the entire time, getting rid of both defenders, finishing with his left hand. Steal on the inbounds. Great job. Great use of the shot fake. Blow by. Reverse layup. Tremendous body control on this one. Little deceleration. Left, right. Doesn't travel. Maintains that balance. He took his 2 steps. Waits for the defenders to commit. Keeps them on their heels. Floats it over. Nice little layup. Rip through. So we've seen a lot of the finesse, the body control, the patience, but he also does have the ability, especially when he gets bigger, slower defenders switched on him on the perimeter. Decisive, catches the defender leaning a little bit, quick rip through. Now he has a runway, big dunk. Operating on pick and roll, love that hesitation and that threat of the mid-range game, and his willingness to shoot from basically wherever is a big reason why these types of head fakes work. So attacks the drop defender, a little hesitation, gets him leaning, and that his capability to just keep that dribble alive, fights through the contact, easy layup. Again, nice little jab step, catches the defender peeking, blow by, big dunk. The way that he incorporates and mixes up the power, the footwork, the balance, the composure with the explosive highlight dunks, it's really fun. In college, I think he's going to feast a lot getting downhill, showcasing that handle. A couple years from now, when the handle even improves more, when the outside shot improves and takes another step, those jab steps, those head fakes, all of that is going to only get more effective. It's only going to get more deadly. The way that he gets to his spots in the 2-point range, incredibly, incredibly fun, and a very, very real and elite skill set in this 2026 NBA draft. The final area of Dybantsa's game that I want to take a look at is the playmaking. His playmaking numbers aren't bad. They're not impressive. They're just kind of there. It's like 3.5 assists per game with almost a 1.2 assist to turnover ratio. Not bad. But I also don't think they properly reflect his passing capabilities. It wouldn't shock me if a couple years from now he's up more around that 5, 6, 7 assists per game, because I do think he has the willingness, the vision to be that type of passer, especially with how much scoring gravity he creates. Some of the accuracy needs a little work, but I love that he has the willingness to not only pass, but also the vision, and has his head up when he gets downhill in traffic. We just talked about his composure in traffic in terms of scoring. It also shows up with his playmaking. So right from the start here, that ability to get downhill, collapses the defense. He's drawing 3 defenders here instead of forcing a bad shot. A little head fake, and he has his eyes up, catches his teammate cutting in from the weak side. Not sure how he threaded that bounce pass through there, but gets it to his teammate, who doesn't end up scoring. But it'd be really easy for him to just take a little mid-range pull-up, fall away here. But the willingness to try, the audacity to even try this, squeezes it through 3 defenders, bounce passes right on the money. His teammate just can't execute, but really good vision, really good process. Here, early offense, little press breaker. Again, just I love the offhand live dribble scoop pass. He knows he's got a 3-on-2 situation here, breaking the press. Sees the help defender shading a little more towards his teammate on the left, so just keeps that ball alive in his left hand. A little shovel pass to his teammate, easy layup. Crossover, drive gets cut off, help defender rotates over. So as he attacks to his right here, primary defender does a great job. I have no idea why this guy's stepping up. doesn't need to. 5 is doing a really good job here, but as Dybantsa drives, he sees this help defender step up. So now he spins back. He knows that he has 2 defenders on him and that his teammate is cutting from the opposite corner. So he just changes the angle. He changes the setting, spins back, takes 3 completely out of the play now because he stepped up on a drive that he didn't need to, and that's all of the scoring gravity that Dybantsa generates, and he knows his teammate is cutting right here. And instead of trying to force it over this guy or force a pass and create a passing lane that may not be there, just great composure, great patience, spins back, and now that's a much more advantageous passing lane for him, for his teammate. Just can't catch it, fumbles it out of bounds. But again, tremendous process and decision-making by Dybantsa. Inbounds, defenders, he catches the defender gambling, attacks downhill. He now has 4 defenders in the paint trying to stop him, all 5 below the free throw line, so he knows that he's got 2 teammates out on the opposite wing, rises up. The way he, by going with the jump pass here, he keeps all 4 defenders engaged because it looks like he's going up for a jumper. They're going to be there to contest, to potentially get a rebound. But AJ's eyes are reading this weak side, kicks it out, right on the money. Wide open corner 3, doesn't fall. Early offense, he's pushing here again. A little pick and roll. Miscommunication on the defense. These guys aren't communicating who has who. They're both taking the screener, which causes both of them to be now engaged and locked in on Dybantsa. But his eyes are up. Love that he doesn't settle for a bad mid-range pull-up, but instead rises up like he's going to take a shot and instead finds his teammate cutting back door. Great catch. Passes a little off, but again, process, vision, decision-making. The assist numbers in high school weren't outlandish. They don't scream, oh, offensive hub, on-ball creator, really high-level facilitator. But the way that he draws defenders while also keeping his eyes up, I think as he scales up and his teammates continue to improve and defensive coverages continue to vary, there's a real world where his assist numbers are in that 6 to 7 range per game, and he turns into more of that decision maker offensive hub than maybe we would have expected coming into this year. So where does that leave us with AJ Dybantsa? Now, his game still needs a lot of work. It's undeniable how exciting he is, how much potential is there, but the shot needs to improve. The defensive consistency, mainly off ball and with screen navigation stuff, totally common themes with guys his age, at his size, but they need to improve. His isolation defense is incredible. The way that he gets to the rim, gets to his spots in the mid-range, and is a dynamic, efficient, high-volume, 2-point scorer. Really, really fun stuff. Great rebounder. There's a ton of passing and playmaking upside with him that I think is going to continue to get unlocked and really shine as he scales up throughout his career. The upside is fascinating. So why can't I fully buy in? Why is there still some hesitation? And I think a lot of it, for me at least, this last year, it felt like his game almost plateaued. He committed to BYU in December, and it felt like he was just trying to get through the season. I get it. Senioritis is real. I've been there, done that. Not to that level, obviously, but when you're making some of the rumored NIL money that he was, and you know where you're going, and you've already been in the spotlight, it's understandable. I don't love it, but I get it. And as Dybantsa went throughout his senior year, it reminded me a lot of Paolo Banchero's senior year in high school, where I didn't love a lot of his process. I didn't love a lot of his decision-making. And a lot of his senior year was experimenting with stuff, taking tough jumpers, putting up awesome numbers and being able to flip that switch when he needed, but a lot of just kind of complacency. And I got that same exact vibe from AJ Dybantsa this year. The talent is undeniable. The potential is intoxicating. And the way that he's grown as a defender over the last 2 years and really committed to that end of the floor has me rethinking him as a player. So We can nitpick his game. It's not perfect. Things need to improve. No one's perfect at this age, but it's still undeniable that AJ Dybantsa is one of the most exciting names in the 2026 NBA draft.